Okay, welcome back to another MECH 1000 video. In this video I'm going to show you how to take parts from a 3D model. In this case I'm doing the Mini Vice project, which has been assigned as the final project this year. I'm going to show you how we can take these parts and place them into the Paperspace. Now, one unique thing about this particular project is that it is in metric units. It's in millimeters. So we have to deal with a couple things. We need to, first of all, place our pieces individually into our Paperspace, and we also need to convert from inches to millimeters when we place them. And there's actually two different ways we can do this. There is the way I originally suggested to students that they do it, but I have found perhaps a simpler way to accomplish the unit conversion here. So right now I have my layout set up as you probably have. I've got an A size sheet and a C size sheet set up, which we've used earlier in the semester. Now when we're dealing with 3D projects, we don't need a viewport, so that I'm going to go with my C-sized sheet. First thing I'm going to do is select that viewport and delete it. We do not need that. So let me first show you what I think is probably the simpler way to convert our model into millimeters. This the way I've kind of recently discovered that is a lot easier than what I posted before on Blackboard. But actually, to do that, I think I'm going to need my viewport back. I guess I wasn't thinking far enough ahead. Let me hit the undo button to bring that back so that I can double click inside the viewport to activate it, which that then gives me my list of viewport scales down here. So I want to create a custom scale, and I will add a new one, and I don't know, inch to millimeter. Doesn't really matter what we call it. So one paper unit will be 25.4 drawing units, and that is the conversion from inches to millimeters. There are 25.4 millimeters in 1 inch. So I'll click OK and OK. And now that I've created that scale, I can select my viewport and get rid of it. So since we're not using viewports, the way we get our 3D model into our Paperspace is to click on this Layout tab and start by placing a base view from the model space. Now what many of you have noticed is that when you do this, AutoCAD automatically wants to choose everything in the model space, every single part that you have created there. And we don't want to do that. We just want to place them one part at a time. So we'll come up here and click on Model Space Selection, and that takes us back to our model space. Now right now everything is highlighted. You can see these kind of dotted lines along the edges. Everything is selected, and we don't want that. So we want to unselect everything but what we want. So in other words, if I want to first place my two views of the base, I want to unselect everything else. So I'm going to hold down the Shift button and click on everything else that is not the base. And I think I've done that now. I think I've just got one object remaining. You can look down here, it says 1 total. So I've just got one object highlighted right now. It's the base. So I held down the Shift button and clicked on everything that was not the base. Now I can return to Layout, and I can choose which view I want to place first. I think I want to place the top view. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to be my front view. Then I'll project the side view from that. But I need to be careful about what scale I choose up here. AutoCAD is going to automatically choose one that it thinks will work, but that's not the one I want. I want to find, here we go, the custom scale I made earlier. This is going to convert my inches to millimeters. And then I can just click to place the base view, and then move my cursor over to the right to make the right view, and hit enter. And there we go. I've got my two views of the base. So there's still some more I need to do with this. I'm going to need to go in and add all of the dimensions. I'm going to have to add center lines. Some students have pointed out, if these are threaded holes, shouldn't we be seeing a hidden line hole surrounding them? And yes, that's not created automatically by AutoCAD. We're going to have to do that ourselves. So we're going to have to add that hidden line circle surrounding our threaded holes to indicate the presence of threads. We're going to have to add all the center marks. We're going to have to add all the dimensions and notes and leaders and stuff. But that's how you can place one object at a time. Now, the benefit to doing your model as a 3D model is, I think the biggest benefit, is when it comes to that assembly view. So if I place a new base view from the model space, again, go back here to select what we want, or rather what we don't want. Hold down the Shift button, pick all those parts that we don't want. The thing about the assembly view, depending on how you have it oriented in your model space, it may not, the particular isometric view that you want may not be one of the ones that are in the list that you can choose from. So I'm going to rotate around to this particular view. This is the isometric angle of the assembly view that I want. I want to make sure that I'm viewing it this way in the model space, so that when I return to the layout, I can choose current as the view that I want, and then that orients it correctly. But again, now isometric views don't always have to be the same scale as the orthogonal views or orthographic views, but I'm going to go ahead and make it using that same custom scale. And the isometric view, I don't want to be visible with hidden lines. I'm going to make it shaded with visible lines. And then I can place that up here, hit enter, enter, and there we go. There I've got my isometric view. Now, if I hadn't set that, let me just undo that. And go back here to select or unselect everything that's not part of my assembly. If I hadn't changed my orientation, if I was still looking at it from this isometric angle, and I return to the layout, and I choose my orientation. Okay, the current view is going to make it like that. I don't want that view. But if I look at the other isometric options, southwest, no, that's looking at it from below. I don't want that. Southeast, no. Northeast, no, that's not quite right either. It's the handle's facing the wrong way. I want the handle facing down and to the right. Northwest, no, that's not right either. Now the handle's facing down and to the left. I want it down and to the right. So you see, none of these isometric options work. So when that's the case, what you have to do is you have to go back to the model space. You have to reorient the 3D model in the model space to agree with how you want it to look in the Paperspace. And then as far as the orientation options go, choose current. Shaded with visible lines. And again, I'm going to select my custom scale that I made. And say OK. Enter. Alright, so that gets you your isometric view And then you just go through and repeat this process, placing all the other views. So I would place another base view from the model space. I have to go back here, and let's say I want the drive screw now. I'm going to have to hold down the shift button to unselect everything else that's not the drive screw, including all of that. Okay, and then return to the layout. And actually, I forgot the base. I was going to say, it looks like there's something in that selection that's not the drive screw. There we go. Now I've just got the drive screw. It's really important. Don't forget to choose this custom scale. Yeah, I do want it to be hidden line. I do want it to be front. That particular view is correct. Front view is correct. And I'll just place the front view and the right view. Enter. And there, I've got my front and side view. Now, the drive screw here is supposed to be threaded, and I have it modeled just as a plain cylinder. So in order to see those hidden lines, I'm going to just draw them in manually. So I'm going to switch back to my drafting and annotation view. I can switch to my hidden line layer. Maybe I don't want cyan lines. I can change the color. And then I can go ahead and draw a line there. Now, the exact placement of the hidden line is not critical. We're not actually trying to literally show the width of the threads. We just want to essentially represent them with a symbol. This dashed line is meant to just indicate the presence of threads. It's not meant to literally represent what the threads look like. So maybe 0.1. That's probably too much. So maybe I'll move it back up 0.05. That's getting a little bit better. Yeah, I'd say that looks okay. And so then I can maybe just mirror that line across the center of the part. Okay, so you'll just have to repeat this for all the other parts. Add the hidden lines where necessary to show threads. Add all the center lines. Add all the dimensions, annotations, the parts list you'll need to add. But that's the basic process of placing our model in inches into our Paperspace and converting into millimeters. I'm not even sure, I don't think I have time in the video to show the other way that I was going to recommend. Maybe I do if I try to do this quickly. But I'm going to recommend this method that I've just shown as a simpler way of doing it. The other way we could have done it is if we had gone to our page setup and modified this layout. We could set our scale here to be 1 to 25.4. But see, that makes your title block really small. So we would have to scale that up by a factor of 25.4. But then what that allows you to do is when you place your base view from the model space and we select what we want and we unselect everything else except for the base, then we can actually put it in at just the regular 1-to-1 scale. So the conversion is done in the page setup rather than in the selection of the scale as you place it. Okay, but I would recommend doing the first way. And if you've got any questions on it, you can email me or post your question to the Blackboard discussion board.